guys, I am back again for another video. Today I'm going to be talking about differences between America and the Netherlands. I will preface this to say that I am from the Midwest and Iowa to be specific. And so obviously when I talk about America, I really only have a reference point of where I'm from. I just want to talk about some of the differences that I experience on a daily basis. So the first one I was thinking about is food. Most people actually grocery shop every single day, and you just always have like very fresh food in your fridge for whatever you're gonna have that evening or maybe the next day, but most often people don't shop for 2 weeks. Back home, people load up generally when they grocery shop, and they actually will be shopping for at least a week, maybe 2 weeks, some families even more. So I think that's kind of interesting because people here are literally eating fresher foods every day compared to in America or in Iowa where most people I know don't grocery shop that often, so realistically the food that they're eating is less fresh. Going out to eat is a little bit less frequent here. Back home, people go out to eat for almost every meal sometimes. Maybe that's a little bit extreme, but at least in my family and people around me go out to eat often and go out for coffee and go out for lunch and go out for dinner, and so that's like just super common. It's not that expensive. Yeah, most often you can get away with a pretty cheap lunch, and drinks are also pretty cheap most of the time. And you also just get served a glass of water always, and it's always free. So I feel like it adds up a lot living here. If you go out to eat often, you're always like, I'm always thirsty when I go out to eat, and I am so used to having water with my meal and not thinking about having to pay for it. So often here I want to get something else besides water because it's going to be just as much as water. So you can get a big glass bottle of water with your meal if you want to, but it's going to cost you like 4 or 5 euros a lot of times. So that really adds up. Like, to me, it deters me from drinking water when I'm going out to eat, and I just think, it's a bit strange to me. I told Steve, my husband, the other day that my least favorite thing about living here is the fact that they don't just give you a glass of water when you go out to eat. Like, I want a giant glass of water with my meal, and I want it to be free. And I don't know, I guess that's just one thing that I think we're a little bit spoiled with in America, is just really, really like quality service at restaurants. Like, they will do anything to make you happy that they possibly can. Like, for instance, like I was at a restaurant with Sieb. It was a vegan restaurant, and it's called Snack Bar. And this is our 3rd time going there. And I got this meal, and it was called like a ramen tofu, I don't know, it was a ramen tofu dish. It was like a soup. And when I received it, I started eating it, and I noticed there was no tofu in it. And that was the second ingredient in the description lists, or the description of the dish. So obviously I was like, where's the tofu? And so I ended up telling the waiter that there was no tofu in it, and they went in the back and they're like, oh yeah, apparently we're out of the crispy tofu that normally comes in it. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I kind of ordered it because of that. Like, it was it was very clear that that was like one of the main things in the dish. And they ended up saying like, oh yeah, we can get you like a free juice or something maybe at the end of your meal. And I was like, okay, but I don't know, I just find it kind of funny. We ended up complaining a little bit more because I wasn't super satisfied with the dish already, and I think it would have been so much better with tofu. So they really, should have told me that, and they didn't. So generally, like at home, I'm so used to like waiters and waitresses being like, oh, I'm so sorry, like we'll take it off the bill, like you don't have to pay for it, can we get you something else? Like, they literally go out of their way for people to be satisfied and for people to not get upset. And here, literally the best that they could do for us in the situation and the circumstances. And something else went wrong, like they didn't bring out the bread until we were done eating, and it was kind of, yeah, just a little bit weird all over. And they said that the very best that they could do was take €1.50 off of my dish. And I just like, I don't know, I'm just like, I guess I'm just so used to the kind of treatment that I get back home, where it's like they literally will do anything to please you. So yeah, I was just really disappointed. I was like, really? Like €1.50? Like if this would have been a meat dish and there was like say it was like a steak soup and they didn't have steak and didn't put steak in it, I think €1.50 would be ridiculous to like, for that to be the only thing that was done. So anyway, those are just some like small circumstances of things that I've experienced so far being here and kind of comparing my experience to back home. Yeah, food here is like really quite different a lot of times. Like I notice, like I'm a huge salsa person. I love Mexican food, and it's really hard to find like a really good salsa. Like any salsa that you find at the grocery store, at least any that I've been to so far, is like ketchup. Like it's literally like I don't even know. It's like they mixed ketchup with a little bit of like some seasonings and some maybe some chopped veggies, and it's just really weird. It's not my thing. And there's a couple other like sauces that I've had that it's just like everything tastes like ketchup. It's like, do you guys really like ketchup that much? I don't know, grocery stores are so much smaller here. So back home where I'm used to, like we have like Hy-Vee. Our Hy-Vee has like a health food section. So that's most of the time what I go to. Like I kind of stay away from the center of the store because that's where all the like processed, like not so healthy food is. So most of the time I only go to the health food section and the produce. And at the grocery stores here, everything is kind of mixed, but they also just don't have a lot of like in your average grocery store. Like we have an Albert Heijn nearby, and they don't have like a lot of health options, like healthier options. So you kind of have to dig for those. You kind of have to go, make special trips to certain places, or probably pay a little bit a little bit more than you maybe want to for some of the specialty healthier items. So that's another difference that I experience with food. The next subject I was going to talk about was transport. Obviously in my hometown, everybody has a car. If you're basically above the age of 15 or 16, you have a vehicle. Like you basically can't function without having a vehicle at that age. Yeah, that age and beyond. People always ask me like, so do you ever take the bus? Like, is that something that you do back home? And it's like, no. Like, honestly, our bus systems are pretty much, I honestly think the only people that really use them are occasionally students like maybe in like a little college area where they'll have a special bus system for them. But around like my city, it's like honestly homeless people or really, 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 really poor people that use the bus systems. So yeah, that's a little bit different than here because yeah, public transport is so heavily relied on here, and it's basically either you bike to work or you use public transport, or maybe you do have like a family car or something. I know here we have access to my husband's dad's car on the occasion, but it's not like, something we can like heavily rely on. So another thing is clothing. I really like the fashion senses here that you like. Just walking around the streets and seeing like how people dress is really fun. I really, really like how people dress, and like the fact that everybody just looks nice and presentable pretty much everywhere you go. I know specifically like in Utrecht, you cannot walk around there without being like, wow, I love that outfit or that purse, or there's always just such nicely dressed people walking around everywhere. And like you never see somebody really in sweatpants or like workout gear or even like athleisure clothing. You don't really see that. So I don't know, it's kind of fun because like I feel like back home, there's a lot of girls that I know, like they don't dress the way that they'd like to dress because it's just not common to dress nice everywhere you go. Like I personally feel differently. Like I always dress the way that I want to dress regardless of like the circumstances I'm in. Like I always honestly just dress nice. At least my standard of nice wherever I'm going. But I know so many girls that like say, "Oh, I wish I like felt good about dressing nice and just, could go out in a dress or go out in heels or, whatever." But they don't, because so many people out and about are just in like athletic clothing, or they're in really loungy clothing, or just don't genuinely dress that, I don't know, that presentable wherever they go. So I don't know, I think that's kind of a unique difference here, is just people care more about their appearance and what they're presenting to the world around them. So I know when my friend was visiting with me here, she was just amazed by the fashion sense here, and just like everybody looks nice. Everybody has like nice clothing that like looks new and is stylish and like is very trendy. And yeah, I think in almost every age group is that way as well. Like there's not really one age group that's lacking with style, or yeah. So I don't know, it's kind of a cool difference. And then lastly, I want to talk about like youth culture and like social aspects. So I really love kind of what I know of youth culture and just like how people are socially here. I really enjoy how present everyone is with each other. More, at least in like my friend groups and the people I'm around, there's a little bit more of everything that we do together has to be like focused on a certain activity. Or yeah, I think people are, I guess, less easily amused, maybe is a good way to put it. Here, I think people are just happy to have a coffee with you. They're just happy to, have a group night where everybody plays a board game, or just literally doesn't even have anything specific to do, just hangs out, maybe has a couple beers and talks. And I really love that. I really love the simplicity of that, and just how all you have to do is bring yourself, and you don't feel like you have to entertain anyone, or I don't know, it's just, you're just authentically there, you're all together, you're enjoying yourselves. And so, yeah, I just really like that aspect of yeah, at least the friend groups that I'm involved in here versus back home. And yeah, it's just easy to have like meaningful relationships, I think, like where people really know each other well, value the time that you spend together. And yeah, so I really appreciate that about social gatherings here, how together everyone really is. So yeah, it's kind of rare you even see like people out and about just being on their phone. It's just not that common to like, yeah, and back home it's like everywhere you go. I mean, you see people out in restaurants, both people, are sitting together and they're both just on their phones. And that's just not something you really see here. And I think if you did, people would be like, what are they doing? Like, how bizarre is that? So I don't know, that's a little bit of a social difference. And just, I don't know, I see it as like something that really affects the quality of life. If you're more present with the people that you're around, I feel like that just like makes for such a happier life. And I don't know, you're just really in the moment with people. You're really able to connect with people. And I know I find myself like, I'm just as bad back home as anybody else. Like, I'm not trying to say I'm better than anybody. It's so easy for me to like kind of just zone out and be on my phone for a while people are having a conversation that maybe I'm not super interested in. And here I feel way less able to do that. And not because anybody would get mad at me or something, but it just because it's so not done very often. Like, people are really, the only time people are ever on their phone is because they're showing something and telling a story or sharing photos from a trip, or it's just, the technology is used, I think, a lot differently. But also in the same sense, I will say people connect a lot more, it seems like, through their phones here as well at the same time. So it's kind of a weird dynamic because, I don't know, like for instance, my husband and his friends are so connected all the time. Like if something funny happens, like they're always like texting and talking about it if they're not together. And yeah, they share a lot of photos. Like my husband has a group chat with his family where they're always sharing photos, sharing family news and all different things. So they're really connected in that way, even when they're not together. But yet when people are together, then they leave all that aside and they really just are with each other for the most part. So I don't know, this is just like what I have experienced so far, and this is just kind of what I've noticed. And I don't know, for me, it's like, so far I think it's really helped me to build more meaningful relationships with people, to be able to have, yeah, I don't know, social structures the way they are here. I think it would be harder going the opposite direction. And like, for instance, me being Dutch and having to, like, moving to America, at least in like my city, I think it would be a little bit more difficult maybe to make meaningful relationships. And I guess even for myself, it's always been a little bit of a challenge to really have relationships that I know are meaningful and grounded in really valuable things. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, and if you'd like to see more or see anything revolving life here versus living in America, or life here versus living in Iowa, let me know. I'm still trying to figure out like more topics that are going to be interesting to talk about and that maybe other people are interested in learning about. I appreciate you guys listening in and joining me on my journey. I will talk to you guys soon. Please comment below with any questions or any ideas for future videos. I would love to supply whatever people are curious about. So yeah, I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. See you next time.